Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I know I haven't posted a video in a while, but it's been a crazy past few weeks with my daughter still in the hospital. So yeah, this is going to be my labor and delivery story. Let's see, I'm gonna say a lot because I don't know, it's just the thing I do. So on June 15th, I checked my blood pressure like during that whole day because I wasn't feeling too good. So I called my doctor, well, the nurse that was on call at the clinic that I go to, and she told me to tell her what the results I got, and the highest I got was like 180 over 110, 115. And she said to go ahead and go into the hospital because she didn't want me to get a stroke. So I went ahead and went in. I got registered, and then they took me to a room where they put a blood pressure cuff on me. And the first blood pressure was normal, but since my arms are pretty big, they did it kind of wrong because they put it on the top part of my arm. And usually the cuff doesn't fit, so it kind of popped off. It was like kind of semi-popping off already. So they redid it on my lower arm, and it was really high. It was 180 over 1, almost the same thing what I got at home. So they started an IV, and how do you call it? They put some medicine in for the blood pressure to see if it would lower. It would go up and down. Then they decided to put me on a 24-hour urine, and I had a lot of protein in my urine. So they decided to transfer me to another hospital where they specialize in baby care and prenatal. It's one of the best hospitals here in Florida, in Orlando. And they were thinking of doing the C-section there at the hospital where I was supposed to have the baby, but they were a little hesitant because the other hospital is more specialized in babies and they have a bigger NICU and stuff like that. So they just waited that my blood pressure would lower enough for me to be transferred to the other hospital. So they did. So I went to the hospital on the 15th at night at 10. So I ended up staying the whole day, the 16th, in the first hospital. And that's when they did the urine test, and they kept me on the IVs with the magnesium and blood pressure medication. I think the magnesium is blood pressure medication, I think it prevents stroke. And yeah, and then I got transferred in an ambulance like at 3-4 o'clock in the morning on the 17th. No, 4 o'clock in the morning, was it? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And I only slept a few hours because I ended up getting scheduled for a C-section at 7 or 8 in the morning, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I was there for I got transferred in the middle of the night. First ambulance ride, it was interesting. They prepped me twice to go in the ambulance. The first time they prepped me because they prepped me to go in the ambulance, but then they put me back in my bed because the ambulance wasn't there yet or something like that. I don't know. And then a few hours later, they prepped me again to go in the ambulance, which is weird. Okay, so yeah. How do you call it? I'm like saying all these words that I'm supposed to. But yeah, like at 8, was it 7? They started prepping me for surgery. And it was nerve-wracking. My husband was with me the whole time. My mom ended up coming for my son the previous day for him because I was getting transferred and it was kind of far away, and we wanted to make sure he was in safe hands. Okay, so once I got prepped for surgery, I was transferred to the operating table. There was a lot of people, you guys. I think there was like about 20 people, which I think is because I was a bigger girl. That's what I think, because the doctor who operated on me said that I am the biggest woman that he would operate on. And he told me, he's all, if I ever think about getting pregnant again, to make sure I lose at least 200 pounds. And he said it in a snarky way, which kind of pissed me off, but I was just like, whatever. And yeah, and when they were putting IVs in me, how do you call it? Like, they always had trouble, so they always had to poke me numerous times. And it stank. It really sucked, because when I was in the operating room, they were putting the anesthetic and the epidural, and they poked me 6 times. They couldn't find the spot. I was already in pain. I was getting agitated. 3 different doctors poked me. 2 men and a woman. The woman was the last one to try, and she got it the second time. And thank God she did, because I was about to freak out. And they were also going to put me to sleep. And me being obese, morbidly obese, it's risky because I could not wake up anymore. So, yeah. They started the surgery. They poke you with the little thing to make sure the anesthesia is working. And I asked her to poke me a second time to make sure it was working. I was that nervous. And there was a reason for me to be nervous, because in the middle of this, in the middle of the operation, I started feeling pain in my vaginal area, which is weird because they weren't even operating me there. I felt like they were literally, this may be TMI, but I felt like they were literally tugging at my clitoris. It was so weird. I was in so much pain. I was screaming. I was crying. I was like literally grabbing onto the bed, and the nurse was like, "Oh, don't squeeze the bed, or don't do that." And I'm like, "Really? I'm in freaking pain. I'm hurting. I'm supposed to be." They're supposed to give me anesthetic or whatever, numbing medicine, and I'm in freaking pain. That is not okay. And I was squeezing the crap out of my husband's hand, and it was just a crazy experience. It was a horrible experience, and there was just more horrible things to come. And anyway, in pain-wise and stuff like that. So after the operation was done, I was taken to the recovery area. I stayed there for about most of the day, from maybe from when the operation was done, like around 7:30, 8 maybe, until 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon maybe. And I was there for a good while. I never got to see my daughter. They showed her to me, but I could barely see her. I was drowsy. I was just out of it. And my husband to go see her after I went to the recovery room. He was with me through the whole operation. He was holding my hand. He was a great support. Ow. And after that, he went to go see her. He sent me pictures of her, and I wasn't in pain yet. But after a few hours, when I was still in the recovery, I could start feeling my legs already. I was able to move. And my blood pressure was sky high, you guys. They were freaking out because it wouldn't go down. And yeah, my mom was there, my husband was there, my son was there. Not in the actual operation, but waiting, in the waiting room. And my friend and her grandma, they are really close to me because we used to live with them when my son was smaller. So yeah, she's basically like a sister to me. I don't have any siblings, so she's like a sister to me. And she was there, and I was happy she was there. And yeah, after that I got switched to a room, and I couldn't walk for the first 2 days. I was there. I still had a catheter in for about the first day and a half, and after they took out the second day, I believe, after my C-section, they wanted me to walk, and oh my goodness, it was bad, you guys. Like, I stood up and I felt like falling back down, and it was really hard to walk. I walked back and forth, and then they decided to take out the catheter to see if I could go do my business, and I did. And then it was painful when they took it out. I don't know why. I don't think it's supposed to, but it was. And I was swollen horribly. I think this C-section was bad because of me being a lot more overweight than I was with my son. And it was crazy. I didn't get to see my daughter for the first 2 days because I couldn't walk.
Ow, ow, ow.
And yeah, they gave me a pump so I could start pumping since I couldn't breastfeed her right away. And I think I made the mistake of not doing it as often as I should because now my supply is suffering. So I was discharged 4 days later after my C-section because my blood pressure wouldn't go down. And then the doctor decided, well, we're not, just to discharge me on a medicine high enough. And yeah, those 3 days were hard because I was away from my husband and my son, and they would come, my son and my mom would come visit me daily. Like in the morning, she'll come like around 8 or 9, and she'd stay till like 3, 4 in the afternoon, and which is amazing of her to do. And then she'd go home. My husband would pick up my son at night when he would get off of work, and sometimes he'd come and see me at the end of the day when he would get out of work, and sometimes he wouldn't. And what sucked was that he ended up, I was in the hospital on Father's Day, and we spent it in the hospital. It was nice. He came, he was off, so he came and brought my son, and they spent the day with me there in the hospital, and which is great. Yeah, like, it was hard. I broke down the 3rd day in the hospital. I broke down crying to my mom, saying that I couldn't believe that I couldn't protect my daughter like I should have, like a mother should be able to. I felt like I failed her, and I wasn't planning on crying, you guys. But I'm a very emotional person, and I told my mom that because of me, she's fighting for her life right now, but she's doing great. I'll update you on her in another video, but how do you call it? It was hard leaving her when I was discharged. I couldn't believe I wasn't pregnant anymore, and I was going home with no baby. That was hard for me, and it's still hard, you know. I know I have my son, but I want my baby girl home, but I know she's doing great, and it's just crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys, for my story. And if you have any questions, please feel free to message me or comment if you have any questions. I think I covered almost everything. They asked me if the anesthetics worked, and I said yes, like a tonta, but I don't know, I was just still out of it. Say hi.
Hi, I am Mayo.
But yeah, you guys, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching. I know.
Bye, thanks for watching.
I'll update you on the baby, and I'll do another video on that. I'll probably just do it right after this one and just upload it. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened. And so yeah, you guys, I'll talk to y'all later, and I hope you liked the video. Bye. Bye.
Bye.